Is CM Punk returning to the WWE? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the General Jerry channel. Ladies and gentlemen, I've got some good news and I've got some bad news, so let's get into it. So Paul Heyman was doing an interview, and he discussed the possibility of CM Punk returning to the WWE. And I quote, "As of right now, ain't no way he's ever gonna go back, but I don't know if I can make that same statement in the future. I know his mindset is that there's absolutely no way as for his mindset where he is on his journey. I think every moment he takes a breath is one moment closer to his debut. I think the only thing that he sees in his mind right now, 24/7, is envisioning the moment that they lock into the octagon and the referee says, fight fella." Now, with Paul Heyman saying that is that there could be a possibility. There's a possibility. Now, what I want to say is this, is that if CM Punk is returning, it would be if, one, his UFC shit falls down, and it's not looking good for him in his UFC debut. Apparently he injured himself, and apparently he might not fight not till like 2017 now. That's what the rumor is. But even that, he's been signed for the UFC for ages and hasn't fought, which is kind of funny. But you know, in that regard, it's a little bit hit and miss. Is what's gonna happen? Is CM Punk actually gonna step in the ring? First of all, I do think he will step into the ring, but it won't be anytime soon for the UFC. Now, in regards to him returning to the WWE, I think if given a chance, he might come back in maybe 6 years, 7 years, or if he's being inducted into the Hall of Fame. CM Punk's mindset is that, fuck the WWE, they screwed me over, blah 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 blah. Now, the instances was Stone Cold Steve Austin. He went through the same thing Punk did. Chris Jericho was sick of the WWE and he came back. Batista, for example, he was sick of the WWE and he came back. So, is there like a small percentage of CM Punk coming back in the near future? There's a possibility. But honestly, for me, CM Punk signing to the UFC, he's going to go down this journey for him in the UFC, and then, you know, if he's there for maybe 1 or 2 or 3 years, and maybe wants to come back to wrestling, there's a possibility. However, if Punk steps in the octagon, gets his ass kicked, and then wants to come back to the WWE probably won't sign him, because the major difference is this, is that if Brock Lesnar, a guy who was in the UFC, who destroyed people, who was a great fighter, and again, people are comparing Brock Lesnar to CM Punk. Listen, Brock Lesnar had an amateur wrestling background. Brock Lesnar knew what the fuck he was doing. CM Punk, however, at his age and his experience, etc., he's only going to face a guy who's either debuting, or he's going to face a guy that's 1-0, or 1-0 or something like that, you know, or maybe a 1-2 at maximum. Someone with a low record. He won't be fighting someone that's in the. He won't be fighting for the belt, because there's some wrestling fans, and there is wrestling fans who know about the UFC, but they don't know, you know, it's not fake shit. It's real. You get punched for real. You get your fucking you get legitimately beat up. So, it's no give or take or anything like that. So, honestly, I think CM Punk will do pretty, I don't know about him, because it's like he hasn't debuted yet and we're waiting a long time. But what Paul Heyman's saying is that, you know, there could be a chance after his journey in UFC. But again, ladies and gentlemen, you know, a lot of people ask me, do I think he'll come back? I think he'll come back in some shape or form. Maybe into like a Hall of Fame in the next 10 or 20 years or 30 years or whatever. You know, well, knowing WWE where the ratings are going, they might not be around at that time. But you know, it would be interesting to see what happens. Also, as well, is that if touch wood, Vinnie Mac doesn't, like, let's just say he dies, right? Touch wood, he doesn't, you know. I hate Vince McMahon, but I don't want him to die. Let's just say Vince McMahon dies and Triple H takes over. Triple H would not want CM Punk anywhere near the WWE, because we all know about Triple H's attitude. So it's not like cut or dry where you can say, oh, he might come back because Paul Heyman said it. No, it's a little bit more mixed up. There's different scenarios. I'm in that mindset where I look to the future. I look at what can happen. I analyze everything, and that's why, you know, everyone tunes into the General Jerry channel. That's why everyone comes to me for the news, the WWE news, and the rumors and the gossip. It's because I like to, you know, try and analyze things from a standpoint where what's the possibility of things happening. In my experience watching wrestlers in the past, he could return, but it won't be for a long, long time. I have been wrong in the past before. I'll put my hands up. I thought Jeff Hardy was going to return before this. But now it's looking likely that Jeff Hardy might go back to the WWE, and I'll do a video on that at a later date. But that being said, I think CM Punk, a man who is, without a doubt, a great wrestler, without a doubt. But the question is that, when will CM Punk's journey to the UFC end? Like I've said before, he has not debuted in UFC. He hasn't fought an actual fight in the octagon. And that's a different outlet. That's a completely different thing, because, you know, when you go in that cage, you're going to get legitimately beat up. It's going to be interesting to see. But like I said, I do want to wish CM Punk all the best in the UFC. I just hope he stops bitching about WWE on Twitter. You know, but that's just my personal reason for it. Guys, let me know what you think in the comments below. My battery keeps, like, fucking up my e-cigarette. But anyway, guys, this is General Jerry on the General Jerry channel. Signing out.